Sometimes you may find yourself out on a mission not realizing that you may need a harness. Surprising things happen on missions all the time. So if you find yourself in a situation where you need a harness and you haven't brought your harness along, as long as you've got some webbing, you can fashion a sit harness without too much difficulty. There are many different ways of tying sit harnesses and also chest harnesses. And right now we're going to show you one way to tie a sit harness. Take the webbing, which was, by the way, properly chained, untie the knot, pull it out. Now, I'm going to get the two ends, and we're going to start with what I call a 1 cubit offset. I'm going to take the end in one hand, the other end in the other hand, and I'm going to bring this end down to my elbow. That's 1 cubit. Okay, now I'm going to hold this end here, run my hand down the webbing to find the new center. And in just a short bit, you'll understand why we found the new center with that offset. We're going to take that new center, tuck it into our pants just to hold it temporarily. Then we're going to take the two strands of webbing, run one around one leg, run the other around the other leg, and then feed the webbing through the bite that was held by our pants. Do the same thing with the other side. And for comfort, make sure that the webbing is nice and flat all the way around your buttocks. Okay? So that's our leg loop. If you want to, you can make overhand knots here to hold things a little bit more secure, but it's not really necessary. Then we're going to take these strands, come around, and go around our waist as many times as we can. Again, making sure that the webbing is flat around behind our back. Go around as many times as you can. Well, look at there, one end's longer than the other. That's what the offset is all about. If we didn't have the offset, we would tie off and you'd have a big knot right here in the front. It's more convenient to have that knot off to the side. So we're going to tie our knot off to one side. That's the purpose of the 1 cubit offset to begin with. The knot that you use here, or the bend that you use here actually, the book says use a ring bend or a water knot. So you can do that. The problem with the ring bend is that when you tie it, you cannot snug it up. It's very difficult to get it as tight as you really want to. The advantage with the ring bend is that you only need a hand width of tail as a safety. The other alternative, and I'll back it up here, the other alternative is to use a reef bend or square knot. And the advantage is you can tighten it up as much as you want to. You can pull, cinch it in, tighten things up around the waist. The tighter the better. The disadvantage is that once you've got the reef knot or reef bend in place, you have to back it up with a double overhand safety knot. I did a single right there. So there's advantages and disadvantages. Once all that's done, you take one of your carabiners and go through all of the waist strands, including this one down here by the pubic bone. And now you're all tied in with a sit harness.